Okay, it says we're on air, and so hello everyone, and now I'm going to go over and look at the watch screen and see whether y'all can see us.
Hello, everybody.
Howdy.
Okay, so I can see we're on the watch screen, and I'm going to shift my screen over because
Okay. I even see the chat. Hello, everybody.
yeah, but there's like a time delay. I'm trying to kill the.
Where's Glenn when you need him to fill dead air?
No, okay, I'm good now. I muted the tab because what was happening was I was hearing my voice again like 2 seconds later on a time delay. So
yeah,
let me scoot this over so I can see the chat. There's the chat. Liz is here. Hi, Liz.
Hello, Liz.
Oh, okay. Wait. If we're doing hats, hang on a second. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think my old school gamer ball cap is probably in a box at my office I didn't go to this week.
Could be.
Okay, so this like totally doesn't work. But what we're going to do, Jim, is when we start doing the variety show thing, I'm going to figure out a way to have this microphone with this hat, and then you and me and Glenn Hallstrom are going to get on one, and it's going to be called Men with Stylish Hats.
Dude, I have it all. I've got a fez. I've got a Water Buffalo Lodge hat. Anything you need.
You're all set. Okay, I'm going to switch over to where I can hear now.
The dramatic changing of the hats.
Men with hats. There you go.
Okay, and oh, I'm being told it's a dapper hat too, so that's good. Dapper is always something you want to aim for. Okay.
Something for the liches.
That's right. Okay.
All right, Matt.
All right. I guess we've got all our people online, and I was sort of thinking, take a few minutes of dead space to let people who haven't found it yet get on, but
live stream brought to you live as it happens without the benefit of any editing whatsoever.
Thank you very much, sir. We've got the narration. Good morning, Vietnam.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the basic idea on what's going on in this live stream. And I don't know how long we're going to keep going on into the evening, and so I don't know if I'll be repeating any of this later on. But here's the basic idea, gang. About 6 months ago, I started thinking about structural stuff in the OSR. And what are the different areas that we can address with it? And some of it was coming in from watching my kids and their communication patterns and stuff like that. But this is what I ended up with. That there were 3 things that I wanted to start trying to do in 2018 to address. And one of those is that we've got a communication gap in the OSR's overall internet that comes from the way that social media is structured, in that it tries to isolate people and then direct them. By isolate people, I mean isolate talking heads to where there are not a lot of outbound connections from anybody who builds up an audience. And to the extent that they are, it tries to channel them into either watching ads or it channels them toward data mining. But it does not put a sort of a broad horizontal set of connections out there. So that was issue number 1, was that, for example, somebody who's reading a blog like Tankar's Tavern, unless Tankar actually specifically says go and look at this podcast, there's no connection, there's no connecting point between the blogs and the podcasts and the Facebook groups and the G+ community, and that all of this stuff has become decentralized as a result of the way that the internet has built out social media, which of course is the sea that we all swim in. That was issue number 1. Issue number 2 is that we've got sort of a lost generation in the OSR. We've got a lot of people who are like, 40 or older, and we've got a lot of people who are our kids, and so they're like 20 and younger. But the age bracket from about 20 to 35, if you walk around one of the old school conventions, you don't see people who are that age, and it's simply for the reason that people our age were a little bit older, and so we, they weren't talking to us, we weren't talking to them. There hasn't been the crossover. So issue number 2 is that lost generation. Issue number 3 that I'll go into a lot less probably here, but it's the fact that with 5th edition reversing a trend and moving back toward old school gaming is the question of whether we're actually going to have any sort of potential identity crisis that's been going on over the last year and might carry on into 2018 in terms of what is the OSR. Are we simply going to dissolve into 5th edition, except for the people who are specifically playing the older games, and leave them kind of isolated? And so those were the 3 issues that I wanted to talk about. And I want to get to what the solutions are, and we're launching over the course of this live stream 2 of the things that I think are the solutions to those problems. And so so there's my summary of the starting point, and in order not to be just talking endlessly, Jim and Zach, do you guys have anything you want to add?
Well, I'll add that one of the things that made me intrigued about this when you first brought this up was the fact that I remember going to blogs, and I remember being a big part of my becoming part of a gaming again after like 15 years or 20 years of nothing. And I found that the blogs were really interesting, but I went to them less and less and less. And I thought that the fact that you were going to have a way to get communication back to more of a hub and make sure that it was spread around to as many people who were interested was a big deal, because I actually missed some of the good ideas from the long form posting that just isn't possible on Facebook and or Twitter or wherever else people congregate for that stuff. And I think that's what made this initially a really great idea. So that's why I'm actually involved. So.
And of course, we've had our 30-year-olds raise their hands on the chat immediately after I said all that.
No,
Sorry,
I saw
Jim.
that. I wasn't going to bring it up though.
Yeah.
And my part of this is, besides, I think it's extremely worthy aim and goal that I want to be a part of. As Zach already knows, I'm a serious student of network theory, and I don't mean like business networking. I mean the scientific theory of network theory, which dovetails nicely into what Matt wants to achieve. What do I always say about network theory, Zach?
Hubs and spokes.
Yeah, be a hub, don't be a spoke. And that's the goal here. We're going to manufacture a couple of hubs and attach a lot of spokes and connect people, gamers.
So let's go on to what these solutions are, since Zach and Jim are both talking about the solutions. This first solution, which is the solution to the issue that because of different media forms and because of social media channeling toward ads and data mining, that what we want to do is we want to create a hub for the OSR. Now, we already have one that's out there, which is Tenkar's Tavern. There may be some smaller ones, but in terms of what I'm talking about with the network theory, again, is a hub doesn't necessarily mean large or small as opposed to the spokes. What a hub is it's one that has incoming and lots of incoming and outgoing sources. They're something that evolve as a node for lots of different things. And so Tenkar's Tavern fits that bill. There are many other places out there, but it's really the structural form of Tenkar's Tavern that makes it a hub. So why would we need a second one? And the main reason is simply that Tenkar's Tavern is more of a social hub for peer-to-peer contact among gamers. There's, it runs through the blog itself, it runs through the Facebook, it runs through Discord, and a lot of that is peer-to-peer contact. And so what we're looking at here is, rather than a social hub, is creating a content hub that will draw in the various different types of media and give people, a sort of a bulletin board of here's the whole OSR, or at least everyone who's let us know about it. Here is the whole OSR, and you can then get to the different forms of media, and there is a connection point for the content, in the same way that there's a connection point for a lot of social stuff over at Tenkar's Tavern. So anyway, that, when you look at what's out there, you've got a very decentralized network in G+, which is again, thinking of it programming wise, it's very disorganized data. It's extremely hard to top down get into that G+ community. You have to basically get in and then find somebody, and then find somebody else, and find somebody else, and there's no hierarchical organization there, which is the reason, for example, that doesn't fit the definition of a hub. And then you've got lots of completely isolated Facebook groups. They are easy to find, but they have virtually no outgoing link, again, unless somebody mentions one in a feed. And then you have, there are a couple of YouTube channels, also YouTube channels, very, very bad at doing outgoing links. You've got podcasts, which are really, they're not connected at all because of the way that you download podcasts. They're forced to be in a type of site that can hold data, which the social media sites really don't do. So that's sort of the overall picture of what we're trying to draw together in this. And so the only way to do that is, basically have a website so that you can organize that data and put it all in one place, because the social media things that are prefabricated are not prefabricated to do this. In fact, they're fabricated not to do that. So so that's the network theory that we were talking about with the hubs and spokes. That's the idea. We've made the website Old School Gamer Radio to do that. Right now it is a framework that does not have a lot of data hung on it. We are about to launch it. We're going to have Jim launch it, and then as you take a look at it, of course, right now there's very little data in there, so it looks like we're totally pimping, like, my YouTube channel, Glenn Hallstrom's YouTube channel. The reason for that is simply because there are only a couple of things in there, holding places, and then we're going to ask people. There's a content form on there which is going to connect to my email address, and so if we can get people beginning to put the addresses of their blogs or podcasts or whatever it might be, and Questing Beast, I know that you're listening, YouTube channels, and get that to me so that we can begin putting it in. So it's going to be a pretty busy.
Yeah. I do want to say that this is not there are going to be some rules about it. It's got to be fairly specific to be role-playing games, obviously, and but we're not looking to push certain groups or anything else. It's a wide audience. We want as much as we can get that's relevant and meets the very smallest, we're not really into adult content kind of stuff like that, but as long as it meets the really non-stringent requirements, we want to have a lot, because we want everybody to get a chance to see what's out there, because I feel like I miss a lot. And I'm on the Facebook and everything, all the stuff all the time. And this is my whole day is role-playing games, and I miss a ton. I want to have a place where I can find things that are interesting that may not interest everybody else, but will interest me. So anyway, with that.
Well, no, that's a major point. I mean, that's exactly the issue that that I've been thinking for a while is out there, because, like, I just tend to be a Facebook person, and so I've missed huge quantities of good stuff because I just don't end up looking at the Google Plus. I don't spend the time in the Google Plus DIY community to see, what people are doing, because it takes so long to thread your way through it. So, all right, Jim. So this is only one of the things that we're doing, gang. So once Jim opens the door, don't assume that everything is done with, because I've got problem and solution number 2 coming up. But Jim, shall we go ahead and launch the website?
I have never been party to a virtual unboxing before, so if everyone will follow along, the URL is all one word, oldschoolgamerradio.com, and you can go there now, and Matt gives me the word, and I will open up the front door.
The word.
And a quick check to see if that actually happened. Yay, it happened.
Okay, so oldschoolgamerradio.com is now a living, breathing thing, although it has very little data in it because we're just starting up. So that was announcement number 1, event number 1. We have launched. Everybody drink their champagne, which is probably coffee.
Or Monster.
Yeah, you guys are both energy drink people.
On behalf, I'm sure, of all 3 of us, I'd like to thank everyone who participated in the Kickstarter and made this website possible. Thank you. You built it as much as I did.
by the way?
What?
Someone typed the link into the chat. Matt?
I bet I can do that.
It'll take away from the stream of talking where Skeeter Green says I'm not working hard enough. I need that.
The idea is to turn this website into a full-fledged gamer web portal. So that it can be a central location you can go to find out what's going on and what all the latest news and scoop and gossip and games and websites and podcasts and blogs are. And as Zach was pointing out, the moderating theory behind it all is one of inclusiveness, not exclusiveness.
Say more about what we mean by that.
Me?
Yeah.
Sure. It's just it's part of my personal philosophy, and I'm in this with you guys because we share it. That all the I'm trying to think of how to do this without naming names. Dragonsfoot.org. All the knife fights. Are just senseless because we're all in this together. I mean, we're all gamers, and that's what this website is going to be about. It's a unifying force. So, I mean, if you've started playing 5th edition and it's your new great thing, there'll be content for you and links and blogs on this website that you can use. And hopefully, if you're a producer of things that support 5e, you'll go to it too. Current games that are modern games but retro flavored, those two, and obviously the old school games that those of us of a certain age all grew up playing.
Yeah,
Of a certain age. Although, of course, we've got all the 30-year-olds, who started raising their hands listening. So,
well, my group at my table, I say TSR, and they're like, "What was that?" So older than that.
So let me move on to, and we'll probably stay on here for a while until we hit, Jim's bedtime or something like that. But sorry, I couldn't resist the dig.
I've got caffeine and smoke, so I'll wear you out, sir.
Okay, yeah, you probably will actually. So the problem number 2 that I was talking about is the lost generation. And once again, I sort of took a structural approach to what this issue is. I mean, I think we know what caused it. It's simply because you had the great big advanced D&D generation, and then there wasn't a lot of contact between that generation and the next one coming down the pike, and so they were playing 5th edition, 3rd edition, and they're moving on to 5th edition, and they're and then now our kids are playing the old school games as well. You see them represented at the conventions and everything, but we've got that gap in between. And since I'm not necessarily all about growing the hobby, but I am about getting the old school playing style into the mainstream. Basically, the much less granular, puzzle-oriented, freeform approach to gaming. And so the question is, how do you contact that generation? And I think the first answer is that the vast majority of old schoolers are using different communications platforms than people who are in that age range. Hence the reason that I started building up a YouTube channel, because YouTube is used much more frequently among people in that generation than it is among people who are 40 and above. And so there are 2 aspects to the YouTube channel. First, it will connect as a content provider to the old school website, but it also will serve to draw in an audience from YouTube, because YouTube has its own search engines and things, and so it will hopefully create a feeder into the community itself. And then to make that work even better, I've started an online game with some friends of mine, in which we are playing original D&D, or using the Swords and Wizardry rules, and basically running that as a YouTube show, which we have not opened up to the public until we're going to do it on this live cast. So there are a few sessions. It's one session divided into 2 episodes right now that are done, and what we're going to set up is to where for a couple of days, those are only going to be accessible through the Patreon that we're setting up, and more about the Patreon later. But that's how you can get in and see the first episode right now, and then I'll add the others in over the next couple of days. So the reason for having that is that right now, as we all know, most D&D games get propagated through a personal contact of someone saying, here's how you play this game. And I think that for the younger generation, or really the middle generation, of gamers that are out there, having an OD&D game going on YouTube where they can watch it will provide that example that we can't really do on a personal level, because once again, we still don't really have a lot of personal contact with people who are in the 10-year younger than us range. It's just, generations that close don't tend to interact all that much socially. So I'm sure my 30-year-olds on the chat are going to go in and object to that, but that's fine. So what I am going to do, so the campaign, just some information about it so that we can create that link. First of all, let me go ahead and give everybody the Patreon link, which is where you can go, and if you're a patron, you can get the first episode. Otherwise, it'll be up in a couple of days in public on my YouTube channel, and I'll send out links to that. But this way, people
radio too. I just want to make that obvious.
What, say it, Zach? What?
It'll be on the oldschoolgamerradio.com as well. Post it.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. Well, it'll feed through automatically.
You can find it there as well.
Yeah. So here's how you do it. If you go to Patreon, the location of it is patreon.com/Jordiba, which is the name of the campaign. And let me get over here and I'll put that on the thing. You kids get off my battle mat. Nice, Liz. Okay. Patreon.
I didn't want to poke holes in your theory, but Liz and Mike Stewart and Zach are all 10 years or more younger than me. I talk to them all the time.
I was talking about 10 years younger than me, not 10 years younger than you.
I stand corrected.
Ouchie. Sorry. Okay. So I just put the Patreon location up there on the chat for people who want it, and I'll when this is recorded, I'll put it down in the description of the video too. And so also what I'm going to do is I've got a couple of the players, the infamous Skeeter Green, and I think Shane Noble's out there too, and bring them. I'm going to send them the invite link so that they can come in. So it's kind of like summoning Skeeter is a.
While you're summoning.
Whoa! Nobody told me Skeeter was going to be on this.
Skeeter's going to be
off too.
I need to put on a cup or something. Hang on.
I guess we were talking about. Someone was asked about Lamentations of the Flame Princess, and I was saying, well, some adult content tags are, we have to be careful with it. And then you invite Skeeter Green. So all of my talk about caveats and worries, just plain doesn't worry. It says you're getting a 404 on the Patreon there, Matt, on the link.
Oh, really?
Yep. Get some armor. Okay. No, one thing I will say while we're waiting, Matt's looking at that, is that the game is really interesting and fun. I'm not in it. I'm not even cool enough to be in it. I am the guy who runs the stream. We have an XSplit broadcaster in Skype, and so I make sure that everything's working. And they uses minis, and when you see a little bit about it, I think you'll be excited because it's very, very, and it's not really heavily combat based. It's a whole lot of like role playing interaction. It is about as old school as you can get with the rules they use. It is a lot of fun to actually watch and be a part of, even in my small capacity. So the players you see are all like really, they're good players and they're real smart. Even Skeeter.
Yeah, I'm not sure why the link's not coming up. So
Skeeter Green meets my minimum requirement of at least one fireball a session. Every actual play I've watched. I'm sorry.
Well, some people getting in. We got a lot of people getting 404 links. Weird.
That's very weird because it's the correct link.
Someone just said why.
Okay.
Anyway,
to the website or the Patreon?
Patreon.
Okay.
We would have alerted you. So.
An extra space in the original link. Yeah, the second one gave me a 404 error.
Uh-oh.
Anyway,
there he is.
It's no big deal.
All right, Skeeter Green, talk about the game. What do you think? as a player in it? What is your opinion?
I like it. It's a lot of fun, and it's nice to have Matt's version of this. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I had both of the screens up, and it was doing the YouTube channel and this one, so I was getting all confuzzled.
Yeah, that happened to me when I was first doing it. I was like, how do I had to mute the sound on the YouTube channel because it was coming through with the time delay.
One of the coolest things about Matt's game, I mean, besides the terrain and the view, which is awesome, by the way, is it's just got a different vibe. It's not a, hey, you're going to do this thing, and here are the railroad tracks. Get in your railroad car and go through point A, B, and C to achieve your goal. I mean, it's really up to us, and it's difficult sometimes because sometimes we have no idea what direction to go in. But that's kind of the throwback to when we were, you know, kids in the 70s. It's like nobody knew how to run this stuff. I was in a bunch of games that were absolutely ridiculous and stupid, and we sat around staring at each other for, you know, chunks of time, kind of going, I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't know, what do you want to do? You know, we did that. And then when something happened, I will throw to Stranger Things at this point. When those kids, anybody who has watched this, when those kids are sitting around that table in that basement and something happens, they throw their arms up, they cheer, they get super excited. I still do that at conventions now. I mean, at Gamehole, we did that stuff. That's one of the things that I want to see brought back into gaming, is stop being the jaded old people that we are.
Good catch.
I was trying to monitor my language.
Well done, Skeeter. Well done.
You know, you get, especially for the people who have worked in the business. I mean, it's hard for me to sit here and talk about working in the business with Jim staring at me like, well, I mean, you kid.
No. That's the thing we share, because I stand when I GM, and Matt stands on the table when he GM.
A chair, only on a chair.
Oh, chair. Sorry.
And I stand up and walk around. Now that we have that 3D printed dungeon, I mean, I'm walking around the whole table. It's a, you know, I'd like to have something fall out of the ceiling so it is actually a 3D experience. But I think the Disney folks are going to nix that. But so, yeah, just, I mean, that's Matt's game. It's funneling back to gaming from the 70s and early 80s where, you know, you didn't know what was going to happen.
So I want to test what I heard. I'm going to be a pretend audience member. What I just heard is, if you like the way the kids played in the Stranger Things TV show, watch this video actual play, and Matt and you guys will demo that mode of play.
It's very close. I can say that I'm a glorified audience member when I run the stream. And I can tell you that even I get kind of excited when some of the things happen, and I have to mute myself because I laugh out loud. There's this like centipede thing that like, is there like donkey?
CP. That's my buddy.
Okay, wait, guys. All right, so I have a thing in Matt that I did not think was happening on the live feed, but somehow I accidentally clicked on someone's face down here, and now it stays on that face instead of going in when people talk. Does anybody know how to make it go back to where it'll change the screen to someone who's talking?
We're not seeing what you're talking about, so that's just
it changes every time I see somebody.
It's you that's locked on that face.
I thought that was the case, but apparently it's not.
That's not ego or anything.
Matt Jackson,
face so he could watch himself.
Look the face again is what he said. That makes sense.
Hang on. Yeah, so if anybody knows, yeah, I know now it's on Zach. That's because I clicked it. Click on, yeah, but when I click on the frame of the person,
never
it
click on
stays
Zach.
with them.
I didn't do it, so. Well, it's everybody's watching me.
I'm being justifiedly accused of having a big ego, which is true, but it's not. This is not it, you know.
Oh, it's a different flavor of ego.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I have no idea how to fix
Double
this.
click, someone says.
Double click? Double click on me. Somebody else say something now.
Right click. Could you?
That looks like it worked.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Who's the hero? Was it? I got Gary as the hero. Thank you, Gary.
Way to go, Gary. Thank you very much.
Anyway, Matt, one thing I think we should mention is we got this far is that you mentioned the Patreons. What are they for? Because we have there are things that are expenses involved in this that we need to like discuss. This isn't so Matt and Zach can go down and get more, I don't know, miniatures like we all need more. But, this is to build this and keep this running, it takes stuff. So I want you to talk a little about that if you don't mind.
Okay. And in fact, I did actually write down in the goals for people who, want to go back and look at the list. But the right at the moment, the big thing that we've got is a huge mass of small expenses. Plaster for making dungeon walls is $30 a box. You're replacing X-Acto blades. Do the walls, with a quart of the base coat is a quart of house paint costs $20. That's used for that. The just lots of things. I'd like to buy a spool of wire. All of these things are small in and of themselves, but they build up really, really fast just on the terrain side. And then there's the technological side too, which I don't know that we've got a lot more necessary to buy on the technological side, but it's certainly burned through the gaming budget.
On the website, there are some things that involve how many things can we put in the stream? How many things can we share about as the content grows? Website costs don't stay flat. Plugins for WordPress, various, and Jim can speak to this a little bit, but to make it the best and easiest way to find content from other creators, it takes not just time, but money for subscriptions to like plugins, etc. And those kinds of things we want to include everybody. We don't want to limit. But right now, if I believe our limit for how many YouTube channels we can share is limited. Is that true, Jim, or Facebook?
I know what you're saying. It's not YouTube that's the issue. We've got a nice feature on the website called Front Page News, and if you click on that link, you just see Old School Gamer Radio's Facebook feed displayed as though it were a giant Facebook newspaper. Very modern layout. The number of feeds we can pump into that Front Page News is limited without a subscription service to the people who provide that service. But we'll monetize the website.
And then, the hosting fees, and I mean, it's small things, but there are things to make it even better. And that's where the Patreons, it really is meant to go, is to make sure that we can make it the best experience it can be, because honestly, no one's really into gaming to get really rich. We're here to actually make really great, cool content. And like Frog God Games is where I spend most of my time, and Matt does a lot of his work, but this is completely apart from that, because what we want to concentrate on is other people. Not us. At Frog God, we talk about what we do. Here, I want to see what other people do, because some of the best stuff I've ever seen is on blogs I never visit. And some of the most fun I've had recently is watching these games. I mean, it's just, I want everybody to have fun too, basically. So,
yeah, you're like the fun fair. You want to just deliver fun and put it under everyone's pillow.
Well, I can speak to a little bit of this if Matt is willing to come in and interrupt me if I say something incorrect. We're dreaming big with this website. So first thing users of the website need to understand is it's a discrete business entity. If you couldn't work that out from it being done by 2 Frog God Games guys and 1 Goodman Games guys, nothing to do with Old School Gamer Radio. Everything's compartmentalized from those respective business entities. So this is a discrete business entity that's putting this website together. It's the 3 of us. So expenses that this website project incur are on the 3 of us. And I don't know about YouTube, but I don't have any money to spend on the website. So that's one thing. The second thing is we've already dreamt very big and have our ears to the ground. If you have big dreams for how this site could be improved, and contact us with them, besides just supplying your blog or your video YouTube channel. And so a lot of those big dreams cost money because it's server time and expense, and like Zach was talking about.
But the best way, though, I think the best part of this, though, is, and this honestly is what I missed, is seeing other content creators' stuff. I used to go to blogs like an hour or so a day. I'd see stuff by Jeff Rintz, and I'd see stuff by even Zach Smith's stuff. I mean, I saw stuff that was interesting and cool, and I don't even get that. I have a Feedly feed on my phone, and I have those sites there. I just never get like the chance to read them all the way through like I used to. And a site that would have links to those things would be just interesting. I miss that stuff a lot, and that's what one of the attractions of this is. It also involves the video stuff, which I like more than I used to. I used to be a real fuddy-duddy about it, and I was like, I gotta watch videos. That's terrible. I watch them all the time now. So it's a great way to combine, you know, different ways of approaching game information, which is the whole point. So.
Okay, Yennis Midgard has just said, just type patreon.com/Jordiba in your browser and it should be fine. So
Yeah,
for some reason the link's not working, and that might be because YouTube doesn't allow me to link out yet. I think it may be that I have to have 10,000 views on the channel before it'll let you do that. There's something like that.
I just copied and pasted it, and it worked right off for me.
Okay, awesome.
I mean, if we have time and interest in it, I can give explicit instructions right now to anybody who wants to be a part of this who has a YouTube show or channel.
Yeah,
let's do that, because I know we've got Questing Beast on here right now.
Yeah,
I've got the website set up to accept feeds from playlists, and this is really simple enough for anyone who wants to be a part of this to do that. I coached Glenn Hallstrom through it in Tavern Chat the other night in a whole total of about 5 minutes. You just need to make sure that your YouTube channel or homepage has a discrete playlist for the videos of your show. And you send us that playlist web URL, and we can stick the feed into the website and create a channel for it, and you're off to the races. It's that simple.
that is
Frankly, neither Glenn nor I are big YouTube, experts, and I coached him through it in 5 minutes.
Cool.
That was way easier than I thought.
Yeah, that was not 5 minutes either.
I only have one question. Is it now? Can you, if your YouTube channel involves multiple like different topics, the playlist you choose to make that would go out to this channel can be different from the ones elsewhere? True.
It would be your choice. If you wanted to construct a playlist that included 2 or 3 of your shows in a mix, you would just create that playlist. Or if you want, like Matt has got 3 or 4 different TV shows brewing, if you a separate playlist for each, they can all be included.
Excellent.
Yeah, because you don't, when you've got a video in the channel, Zach, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be assigned to a specific playlist. You can put it into several.
No,
playlists.
I know that. I just didn't want to make sure you assign a certain one to apply to this channel in case you had unrelated topics. So,
right.
I mean, nobody wants to get into boring, website coding, but the API, I had to register as a YouTube developer and go get an API to make this all work. So we're set up for playlists, not channels.
All right. So people just need to give us the link to the first one on the playlist, Jim, and then we'll be able to do it.
They just have to create the playlist and a link to their YouTube channel in general.
But how do they create the link to their YouTube channel?
Well, like your homepage on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Our website. What?
Like if you already have a playlist set up, it's you, Matt. You already have the playlist set up. Mm-hmm. If you send me the URL to your homepage, I go there, grab that playlist feed, and it's in the website. They don't have to do anything besides create the playlist and let us know where they are. That was what my question was. They have to let us know where they are. So okay, cool. I mean, I could be cyber stalking and go find them, but it's probably easier if they just tell us.
Okay, so now Questing Beast has a great question, which is, where do I send the playlist?
You would use the contact form on the website under Contact Us, and it will go straight to the head honcho, which ain't me.
Hey, yeah, how'd you? Oh, I told you to do it that way.
we had a contest where everybody forgot to put the contact form in the website, and Jim do it 10 minutes before we go on air. Well, guess what? It's there now.
It was not Can Jim do it. We talked about that 2 days ago, and you had just forgotten.
I thought I said that.
Okay. I just wanted it made perfectly clear.
I don't like it when mommy and daddy fight.
Okay, Pete.
Here's some old school DMing for you kids right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Skeeter, any more about the Swords of Jordan? Because the thing is, Skeeter is one of the players in there. So everybody who likes to see Skeeter in gaming
Oh
mode,
boy.
you can go and watch the game videos. And again, you don't have to sign up for the Patreon. They're in there. They're going to be in there for a couple of days for the Patreon, for the patrons only, but then they're going to go public, and I'll put up a link to it. So you don't have to subscribe to the Patreon unless you're like planning on watching it tonight. So
yeah, if anybody wants to come by and watch, we are just starting out. I think we're building some story and some campaign history. We typically have a bit of a slow start as we do our side conversations, which is a part of old school gaming. And if you are offended by profanity, this is not the campaign video for you to watch. I have a problem, and I'm trying to get better. I'm using this video right now as a testing ground. I don't think I've sworn yet on here, have I?
hell no.
Oh,
Just do it
excellent.
Battlestar Galactica style.
Yeah.
Add an S. God damn it.
Yeah, that'll work. No, we're just having a lot of fun. They're short. I don't know how you're breaking them all up, but our sessions are 2 hours. Supposed to be weekly, but it hasn't been working out that way. So there's plenty of content. Come by and take a look and listen to us trash each other.
Yeah. So far, the only one that we've got up is episode 1, which is you guys discussing the marching order and getting to the dungeon, which is freaking hilarious. And then I have
It is funny.
I did take it upon myself after that first session to be a little bit more go-getter, because we would still be standing out front of the door right now if we had not done that. Our second session, I don't think we recorded that, but if any of that is salvageable, that would be some funny shit to put up. Just
what we've got
sideways.
what we've got is so I was saying episode 1, you guys getting to the dungeon, that one's on the Patreon right now, and people or rather the link to it is on the Patreon post. So when you sign in, you go to post, and then I've got the link to it. And then episode 2 is edited and ready to go, and I just haven't gone through the 4 hours that it will take to get it onto YouTube, but I will do that. And then I have session number 2 we did record, which is the one. Well, I won't say what it's got in it, but the second session we did is recorded. It's not edited. I haven't put in a video yet. That's one of the things I'm going to be doing in the next couple of days. And then I think you're talking about the one where we didn't where like it was just you and there were only a couple people there, and we decided to have a side.
It was me and some mercenaries.
Yeah, that one went interestingly.
Yeah. Never trust a lawyer. That's all I have to say.
It's watch the video, you'll get why. It's really.
Oh well,
Yeah.
no. What Skeeter's talking about is that he and Ian McGarty, because I brought in Ian because I knew that.
No, I was there too. I remember.
I haven't got. We didn't. I guess I do have a recording of that one, but it's totally not. It's like I wasn't using the terrain, and we were just fucking around, on that one.
That should just be a blooper reel.
So, Matt, one thing I wanted to, you touched on just a bit, but like we talk about notes and various other things that come out of the Swords of Jordan game for Patreons. We had talked about, PDF notes and basic things like that. Did you go over that more, or?
I think it's all on there. Let me take a look and see what I've got. Because this is it's a slightly moving target. Because as we, as it develops, it's going to be different stuff. But
if it's moving, fireball it, right, Jim?
You got it.
All right, so let's look at the.
Build a man of fire, you keep him warm for a night. Set him on fire, you keep him warm the rest of his life. That's my philosophy.
Exactly.
If I get to high enough level where I can cast a fireball in the Swords of Jordan game, I will be unbearable to live with.
Okay, so here we've got on Zach's question, for the $10 a month or more what you get is that I've got my adventure notes, which are handwritten, just stuff, the real raw feed from my brain, getting written down for the notes. And so on a monthly basis, we'll send out that PDF to the people at that reward level, so that people will be able to see sort of what's going on in the written stuff behind the screen.
As an aside, I missed the bet because I thought somebody would find something wrong with the website within the first 30 seconds it was live, and it took 45 minutes for Patrick to nail something.
All right. Oh, and it was Patrick.
Everybody's a backseat coder.
He's an actual coder though too. So. Yeah.
And then the other thing that I've got, at the $25 a month thing is that you're also making suggestions about stuff, so that
oh shit, I should up my pledge to the $25 so I can make some suggestions.
Wish spell.
Yeah, lots of scrolls.
So that we will probably change those levels around as we get to as we get more patrons in and figure out more what's going to work out well for the rewards, and we'll toggle those as needed. But that's what we've got set up right now.
One thing I want to say about that though is that, because you're far too modest to say it, Ed, is that after watching games at cons and watching the one online here, Matt is probably one of the best GMs I've ever seen in terms of like ideas and on the cuff things, and be able to compare the notes versus what happens, and be able to see kind of like how he designs a home campaign. When you get stuff that's been published by Frog God of Mats or by Mythmere of Mats, what you see is a final polished thing for you that's ready to go. What you're seeing from this is, if you want to say how to make your home campaign better based on somebody who's really, really good at this, this is what you get. This is encouraging you to create things and getting advice in a way that you wouldn't normally see it raw. That I think is just incredibly awesome. I almost never run games. I haven't run a game like for long in years. I ran a couple con games. Because of watching these, I'm actually going to run, I think in the spring for my local group, I'm going to start running games again, because he made it seem so effortless and fun as opposed to like a lot of work. And I think when you get a published work and you see like, oh, it's like homework. It's like, oh my God, I have to do this and this, and oh, I got to get these out. And it just, you see the off the cuff style and you see how it's made and the thought process behind it. I'm excited about that, and I never thought I would be. So he would never say it, but you're going to see something awesome in action for a hobby that's important to so many of us. And so I think that's the most exciting part about the Patreon for the Swords of Jorba. And yes, I am a member as well. So I'm a patron. I want
to amplify Zach's point, if I may. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all went through the whatever age you were when you started gaming, you probably DM'd and GM'd later. If you're a DM or a GM, you probably judged a game just like your first DM. You just imitated what you were taught and did that. Those of us that work in the industry and go and run these con games, I bet 75% of how I run a con game now came from me watching the cats at cons that I admired running games like Matt, like Tim Kask, like Jim Ward, like Michael. I almost said Michael Stroh, like Michael Curtis or Harley Stroh. All these guys. I'm observing them running games. I'm like, yeah, I'm having that bit. I'm nicking that. I like the way. That's why I stand and wave my arms around and do a deep voice sometimes. It's because of watching Mike Curtis run games. And what this Patreon video is a chance for you to do the same thing without going to a game convention. You just turn on YouTube.
So it's my turn to chime in here and make Matt feel uncomfortable.
And I definitely am at this point.
As a player in this online game, and it was the debacle episode that we didn't record. Matt mentioned something at the end of that he was hoping for a particular outcome that didn't happen. And at no time during that game did we ever feel railroaded like we were doing the wrong thing. He just let it happen and was flexible enough to accommodate our horrifying battle tactics. And
I know. Come on. I love this. I love the split the party attack. You know, from totally different directions
yeah,
without any communications with each
and,
other. That's brilliant.
and the end of it, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but Matt had said he was kind of hoping that we were going to do one thing, and none of us did it. But it doesn't. I don't know because I can't see the future, but it doesn't seem like that's going to derail the whole campaign. It may make him work a little bit harder, but I don't know. And that's something that you only get from actually DMing for years. The ability to be nimble when you're running a game. And when you run games at cons, when you don't know the people and there have been a bunch of times at conventions when I've been running a game and I was like, you do what? Because it's just something I would not have thought of that.
You had a book the same way. You do what?
Yeah. I mean, when I'm a player in game, I hear that all the time. It's like, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, well, I don't know. Don't
Let me answer a question that I think it was Matt Jackson asked, and the question was whether it's going to include pregame prep, and the answer is yeah. Right at the moment, we're not going to try and get the pregame prep out at the same time that we release the game, but what will be in that PDF is the stuff that I wrote ahead of time for the game, and then not really edited or polished up or anything. It's at some point I may take those notes and turn it into something that's more of a finished product and put that out for World of Jordaба, but that right now what we're talking about here is just seeing the notes, and they'll handwritten, so you're gonna have some deciphering issues with them as well probably. And Matt, I hope that answers the question that you were asking. And then Tankar is saying, hey, is this Patreon like Extra Life pledging? Because wow, I have some ideas for Skeet and Ian.
Oh Jesus.
Ian's not one of the ongoing players in the game. The players are Ala, Skeeter, Shane Noble, and Jim Hazeltine, who I've known since we were 5. So
and they're all awesome. They're way cooler than Ian. No, the group of players he has together is not just entertaining, but they're thoughtful. They don't overly concentrate on rules. They don't complain about much, but they're funny. Oh my God. And it makes it really entertaining in a way that a lot of actual play shows sometimes aren't, and it's worth it. So that alone, I think, is worth just watching it. Even if you don't become a member of the Patreon or anything else, check it out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Matt's channels or our channels for this, so you can actually see them when they pop up on your subscriptions when they come live. Follow them. It's really worth it. It is entertaining. And I say that as the guy who's there. Speaking of the devil.
Yeah, Shane Noble just came onto the call. This is our this is the group's halfling antiquities collector Thibodeau Bellywhopper. Do we have audio from you, Shane? Can you hear us?
Who knows? Can you hear anything?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So hang on, we've almost got a party here. Matt, you want to run a game in the live stream?
Yeah, sure. I'll run a game in the live stream.
I actually have a question about the website.
Okay.
Is there going to be a section of it where like free PDFs are going to be stored, like the Swords and Wizardry free version, or any fans character sheets or any stuff like that, a repository, or any other free game system from anybody else? Is
Links
that a possibility?
too, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Right, but not actually stored on the site. For one thing, we're not trying to steal the thunder of any of the component spokes that are coming into the hub. We want to get people to identify where the things are, but not actually to become a source, you know, for that stuff,
Right.
because that would actually do the opposite of what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people connected outward to all of the sites, not to become a repository of actual, you know,
Okay.
stuff. So,
which is actually an important point, because, for example, when I was saying this is how you give us your YouTube playlist to put through as a feed, the click-throughs that will create a little gallery of your YouTube videos that is viewable on our website, but the click-throughs also go to your YouTube page, which is important for views and so forth.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
All right. So what I'm going to do now is something that will probably startle anybody who knows him, and that is that Skeeter, I'm going to put you in charge of this live stream for a few minutes while I go.
That is a disastrous
break. So you are officially now the captain. I saw the moment I said that, Zach's little mute button went off.
I am the Lord of all that I survey.
I know how Skeeter likes to do the marching order. It's mages in the front, fighters in the back.
No, that's
so nobody's
not true. I like to have all the cannon fodder up front, and I'm in the way back just lobbing artillery. I learned that from a guy in a very nice hat, Mr. Wamper.
I'm just prejudiced by only seeing the Rapanatic live plays.
Oh yeah, no, that's a bit of a fiasco.
I perhaps unfairly attributed that marching order to you, sir. Sorry.
No, that one wasn't me. That was just us sort of wandering around, and then sweet Liz attacking me because some devious voice spoke to her and gave her money
for charity.
Hey,
in my defense, for charity.
Hey, you know, it all worked out. That hall was cleansed by fire. I think Zach survived that one. Didn't you walk away?
I don't think I was playing that one. I was actually running the stream only by that point.
Oh, were you? Maybe. It was Patrick.
Yeah.
Patrick was able to limp away from that encounter.
I believe at the time. I think he was a Wanty or whatever.
Fireballed at ground zero. Hey, stab me in the side. I'm going to blow your ass up.
Yeah, you're not allowed to get high enough level for fireballs now.
That was a problem. Well, in our Swords of Jordanba game, I unleashed a sleep spell and put half of my party to sleep. I'm just about mass destruction.
Well,
That's
guess
the important thing. Yeah. So another question: is there any plans to record any of the Swords and Wizardry Light actual campaign gameplay, even just a brief summary video, so people who aren't sure what it's about can get a feel for it?
I believe that's the kind of thing that Michael Badalotto, Eric Tenkar, and other creators like I bet you money that Glenn Halstrom probably has something like it up as well already. If not, he will. There are people playing Swords of Wizardry Light everywhere, and it's a great kind of stuff. And that's the kind of thing we want to see hosted on this site as opposed to created by Matt or I. So other people not just get to see that content, but the people who create the content, their other content gets highlighted as well, which is the point of the page. And I think as the page grows, people will. I think Matt's intent behind this, which is, like I said, why I'm on board, is awesome. And it's to get more, basically stir the pot of a bunch of like different places and different play styles into one place so you can see it. So that's why Matt doesn't put a video about Swords of Wizardry Light, or I don't on the Frog God page, and we post it. Somebody who's playing it, who's using it, especially with kids or with anything else, can be up there. And we encourage that. And that's why we don't post Swords of Wizardry Light here. You can get it from, a lot of places, RPG Now and et cetera, et cetera. We want that everywhere, because to us, even though we sell games at Frog God, and it's that game itself is important, because I think anybody can play in the hobby in an old school fashion for free, forever for free. Though we hope you buy stuff eventually. But honestly, it's because we love the hobby. Nobody I know who works in the hobby hates it. They may hate some of the people in it, but shame on them, Skeeter.
Hey, man, it's a very narrow focus of irritation. And I did hear from a little bird that there was going to be some new content for Swords and Wizardry Light adventures, one-page adventures coming out in maybe April or May, which I'm very excited to see. Complete.
Eric Shankar says he can't do live cast of his regular group because the employed people there would lose their jobs. Well, they should retire like you, Eric. Basically, that's the answer.
No, that's a real thing. That's why there was never a save or die actual play, because me, Liz, and Mike, and sometimes even Glenn, that's not for public consumption.
Liz is the worst.
Two of us are
play.
Two of us are abhorrent potty mouths, and it's not Mike and Glenn.
Yeah, I know.
Which honestly, I've got to experience the Liz profanity. I need to elevate my game.
No, you don't.
Well,
Okay,
welcome back, Matt.
I'm back. Yeah, I kind of expected to see just nothing but
flames everywhere. Hey, it's almost 2018. I am trying desperately to turn the ship and turn over a new leaf. Maturity. Although that leaf is burnt and mangled on the other side, so may not be any better.
Okay, so in terms of that leaf, did you get Shane to talk about the game at all?
I have not gotten Shane to say anything yet.
We're centric to do that. We're waiting for you.
Okay, so Shane, tell us about the Swords of Jordan game.
Well, it's really a very interesting game. I like how the detail that you're putting into it, like with the flagellant low mileage centipede, you know. It's just those little details like that just make it a hoot, you know, a blast to keep coming back.
A blast.
See what you did there.
Do the centipede walking noise.
Oh, and then gas in. I hate seeing when we put them in reverse. Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
There's a centipede-like donkey creature that it makes me laugh every time that they talk about it. So like the campaign has fun stuff like that, but his voice, I laughed for 2 days the first time he did the centipede noise. So
oh yeah, that was super funny.
Oh. All right, so we talked a lot about the game, and not really trying to pimp the Patreon. It's just that's sort of the starting thing for today. If anyone wants to watch the game, it will be going public in a couple of days.
Is that going to be the regular thing? So Patreon contributors get early access to the episodes as they come out?
Yeah. So that way, since people are putting some money into it, that's one of the things they get. And then for I think it's $10 right now. They get the PDF of the notes and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's for the low level Patreon tier. That's the reward, is you get to see the video a couple days early.
Excellent.
That's just me following the advice of how Patreon says to do videos. That's how they say to do it. So we'll see if see how it works out.
Should be good.
All right. Are there any other questions we have coming up? I'm trying to pay attention to both, but Skeeter keeps distracting me by saying things.
Hey, if there's any artists out there that want to break into RPG gaming, this is an awesome opportunity to try and link your portfolio or DeviantArt page or whatever it is so more people can see it, because RPG publishers are always looking for artists. So
and DeviantArt
if anybody even knows any artists, please tell them about this repository for links.
Yeah,
and if you're already I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying here we're no longer talking about the Swords of Jordan game. We're talking about Old School Gamer Radio, the website that's got the aggregated links. Go, and Jim, you were going to answer more specifically.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and if you are already an RPG artist active in industry, it's not too late. You can still get out.
The amount of times that Curtis has said that to me, every time he sees me, you could still get out. We have this ongoing joke about I've tried to quit RPG industry so many times, and they keep bringing me back in.
No, it's not. You keep showing back up again.
That's a key component right there.
Well,
Keep showing up.
I can't leave you guys because I got to do it. It's just a thing. I got to keep doing it.
That's the way it works. It is. You just can't.
Yeah.
We're not getting our chat people. We've got a good question here from Monkey Blood Design. It's Glenn. Hey, Glenn. Is the question, is there a separate heading for artists and such? And the answer is, I think there will be. Right now, the headings that we have are videos, blogs. Did we put one up for podcasts, Jim? I think we did.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then other things that we're going to be trying to access are Facebook groups, G+ groups, artists. We have not got the headers, I think, for all of the different media types up there, but yes, definitely.
Yeah, let me be more explicit about that. The content that's on the website today as it debuted is all content I personally scraped together building the website. We're all in this together, so the onus is on you guys out there to send us your content and we will put it on the website. That's the whole point.
I think
Absolutely.
everybody out there should just load Jim up with content so he has to work like
Not Jim's Matt.
25/8.
Oh, no, there's a process. The contact form goes to Matt, then Matt puts it all on me.
I will try.
Okay.
I will do my level best to shovel it all over to Jim. Jim, I don't know how to do this. Jim, I don't know how to do that. Jim, the technology on this is really hard. Can you just put this on for me real quick?
Isn't that what you're used to, Jim? Don't you hear that all the time?
You know, it's not like I'm some Wile E. Coyote super genius. I can teach anybody this stuff.
Not me. I can't
No,
figure this out.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
What does this button do? I can't do it.
There have been people that already have become patrons of especially the Swords of Jordoba, and I want to thank them. Matt and
You're
Jim
welcome.
have done a lot of work. Thanks, Peter. You're a nice person. Done a lot of work on this, and it's gratifying to see it. We hope you enjoy it. You hope you find value in it. But Patreon is self-designed to support projects you care about. And if those of you who are listening or watching or watch this later after it's down, just consider throwing a little bit at it so we can add more to it. Because, you know, I'm not cashing a paycheck here, but I would like to be able to do more work on it that is more exciting. And so it's for everybody. And so thank you those who actually have already done so. Skeeter, as an example, Skeeter.
Patreon is telling me on the Swords of Jordoba one that we're 82% complete on the first goal, which is the one where it's basically like continuing to have the stuff to make terrain and build out some of the physical sides of it. So we're 82% there, which is awesome.
That is great.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, everybody.
Yay, thank you, people. That means I get to play. So it's a self-serving thing for me. And Shane. I would say I get to play with Shane, but that just sounds weird.
It
It's
does.
an entirely different video stream.
As
long as you don't touch the monkey, it's okay.
Hey, now. I'm just going to...
Now
I stopped. I was going to make it weird about the centipede, but I just am going to stop now.
Thank you.
So, no, Matt, Zach, Jim, you guys are doing a good thing. This has been a long time. Something like this has been needed, I think. The old school gaming has been pretty fractured and beat up. So having a place, just giving it more attention, probably a good thing.
It's really all ultimately to Matt. I mean, this is an idea. I wish I had this idea, but Matt's the guy who's decided, okay, we're putting our flag in the ground here now.
This is true.
we've already kissed Matt's ass enough. I was going to
Really,
try to spread it around.
I really can't say that today. I'll wait till tomorrow.
Come on, man. You know me. I don't blow sunshine up anybody's carrion crawler.
Whoa!
Or centipede.
So
Yeah.
if I say it, I mean it. Oh, centipede. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't do the centipede farting noise. That's Shane's department.
Well, the nice thing is, it seems like the three people who are mostly involved in this actually have a legitimate respect for each other. So that goes a long way when stuff starts going south, which it will. But it seems like you guys have a century of combined gaming?
Probably.
So, yeah. So
Damn you. Now I've got to sit here and add it up. And I'm dyslexic, so I can't subtract 1979 from 2017.
Jim, carry the one. Yeah, it's, the online game is a good time. And ultimately, that's what gaming is supposed to be about. It's not bitching about whose rule set is the best, whose version of fun is right and wrong. It's everybody just kind of putting the world aside for a little bit and enjoying being around their friends. So it's a good thing.
Well, thank you for that. And the proof is in the pudding, because I am privileged to get my local game store and gaming group come from Gateway Games in Cincinnati, Ohio, run by Todd Bunn. And long before I showed up with any of my shenanigans, Todd created a game store there in which he shepherded some teenagers and some 20-somethings and some 30-somethings through every genre, every edition, every play style. So I therefore inherited players in their late 20s, early 30s, some teenagers, some old guys my age, who all came to my table prepared to game the way we did back in 1979, which was we played everything. We played every play style, crunchy, rules light, champions, Gamma World, TSR, whatever. We've experienced that, and that's the way gaming should be. The separatedness that Matt is in part railing against is an artificial construction, I believe, created and fostered by verities of online world. And we're going to try and use the online world to reverse that trend in one little website.
Hey, Matt, we have a couple questions here real quick.
Okay.
One of them I noticed is somebody asked about poor copy editors. And copy editors are the unsung heroes of publishing for everybody.
Yeah, that is so true.
If you have any way you can link to stuff you have a site, you have somehow let us know. You guys need way more. You need like a great big flag celebrating you, because copy editing is hard. It's important. It's not the same thing as editing, and it certainly isn't the same thing as writing it. So yes, that I think is important, and we can talk about that more later. And the other one is someone asked.
Yeah, because I got a lot to say about that. I got a lot.
The other one is, will we have a subreddit? And Matt, I'll let you speak to that.
Will we have a subreddit? Jim, I'm going to let you speak to that.
I mean, I don't really see the need. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Just because I don't know what that even means.
Subreddit that's pretty much not alive. It posts every once in a while. I don't go to Reddit that often, but if someone makes one, we'll link to it. I assure you that.
Yeah, put that in the links.
I mean, I'll express a personal opinion. I go to Reddit and read it all the time, so it's not like I have anything against Reddit, but I think Reddit is for millennials and up the same way internet forums were for those of us in the past of a certain age.
Now
we've also got another question from Noah. Did I jump on that answer? Because I wanted to answer Noah's question, but
no, it's fine.
You finished. You're just fast.
Yeah, Josh just pointed out the youngsters go there, which we may want to. So we may want to think about it. I don't know. That's something we'll talk about, the subreddit thing. And Noah also has a question about whether we want to include a player registry. And that one, I think, for now, the answer is no, because of the difficulty of we would have to have a way in which somebody other than me puts in the data. You know, you have to have people go there and put in the data. On the Kickstarter to build out the site, we didn't raise enough money to have a site where that kind of direct input would be done. So at least for the time being, we can't do anything that requires lots and lots of different input, because the way it's going to have to be done is that Jim and I are basically, and Zach, you know, we'll have to be doing all of the inputting. So not at this point, no, with a player register.
But if somebody makes one, I know we'll link to it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, if somebody makes one, we can link to it and make a big deal out of that link.
I mean, a lot depends on how well we monetize the site, because as money comes in, more and more of things we've already dreamed up and ideas you're out there having and will hopefully send us are possible.
All right, and with that, do we have any more wrap-up questions from the chat? We're told, please don't consider Reddit just youngsters. We don't.
Well, I just said I go to it all the time.
Okay, so, all right, Noah heard the answer. Anybody else have questions?
I do want to point something out to everybody. If you don't become a Patreon, or you weren't part of the Kickstarters, or you just want to be there, please come to the sites. That's supporting us as well. Follow the creators who give us links. Go check them out. Subscribe to their channels. Make sure you spread the love of the information to get it become a useful source. And in order to become useful, it has to get used. Share the links. Let people know. We appreciate it. It becomes more useful to me to read every day when you do that work too. So go forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And let us, you know, feed us all of the links that we need to get going in there.
And us means Matt.
Where's the link to the site right now?
oldschoolgamerradio.com.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the chat. It's in the chat thing at the moment. And then
yeah, if I could just put a finer point, because we've been living and breathing this thing for a few months now. When I use the term web portal, everyone may not be familiar with that term. The point of the website is to be a destination site you go on to go to other sites. For example, Matt has been very prodigious in producing episodes of his YouTube channel. If you are friends with Matt on Facebook and you see the individual post on that day fly by, lucky you, you can go click to his channel. Or you can, you know, go to his channel every day in hopes of seeing a new episode. At Old School Gamer Radio, you can just go to the website and their, you know, latest and greatest is all right there in front of you. You click through to your content. That's what a web portal is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes good sense. Is that it's a way, you know, it's a way of finding out what's newer in the places that you visit. It's, you know, it's precisely, I mean, you just put your finger on one of the ways in which social media disconnects topic areas.
It's a simple question. I know Eric and Glenn are doing a new podcast, but I can't remember what the name of it is. If I don't know the name, I can't Google search it, right? Go to the website. There's a link. Bang, you got it.
All right, let's see if we got any more questions. I think that looks like it's about it. Guys, are you ready to close it down?
Unless there's other questions, I think that we've covered it. We can start live streams almost anytime, so let us know.
And I'm assuming that this is going to be up on the channel. I'll double check that. But for people who missed it or missed the beginning of it, I think it's recording to the YouTube channel, to the Uncle Matt's D&D Studio channel. So,
well, I'll just end with thanking everyone who supported the Kickstarter and made this website possible in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you, new Patreon backers. Thank you, Kickstarter backers. Thank you for people in the audience watching this. Thank you for those who've clicked on the link. Thank you, Advance, for sharing it to the people you know. Creators, please bring stuff in. We really appreciate it. It makes the work worth it. So thank you very much.
And I would like to say also thanks to Jim and Zach, because even though they tried, you know, desperately to shovel all of the credit onto me, it's the thinking, you know, and the feedback that I got from the two of those guys that turned it in from a vague idea of something needs to be done here into here's how we can do it.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have one last question. Is there going to be any kind of Old School Radio official presence at GaryCon besides Zach wearing a hat?
I think Zach wearing a hat is probably it.
Well,
We don't
can
have-
I
I'll
try
talk
a
about it
hat?
all you like.
I mean, I'll be there. So find me in the hall and bitch about what you don't like.
Yeah, no, honestly,
I never do that.
we're not talking about you.
Oh, just people in general. Yeah, I'll be doing my secret handoff to Jim of the monsters to keep him up and running every day.
Oh, those monsters. I'm sorry, I was on the RPG table for a second. You're the man, sir.
It is my it's my quest to now have these in a backpack for you at any time you want one.
Well, it's a worthy investment because it keeps me hopping around, being entertaining.
Well, yeah, I get them by the box now, so we can spread it out.
There you go.
So
All right, thank you, everybody.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We really,
Thanks,
really
guys.
appreciate all the help we've gotten from the
Yeah.
community. And we're going to go ahead and sign off. So, whatever kind of D&D it is that you play, imagine the hell out of it.
Darn right.